Now we're in phase 2. We're going to do a bowl. There's a couple of ways to do a bowl. You can use a faceplate. You can use what they call a ring, which will go into a chuck, and you can tighten it down. Or you can use a worm screw. The worm screw will always go in the top part. You always turn the bottom part first, is what you're going to do. Okay, so this would be your top right here. All right? So if I were to use a worm screw, it'd be right here. What I'm going to do is I would turn this. I would make a tendon or a recess, and I would use it from my bottom, and then I would turn it over and then do my top. Take this off and do my top. Okay? So, I think I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use the safest thing to use is a faceplate. Okay? And the more screws you have, the better. You want the screws where they just kind of, probably they're about 1.5 inches in length. Okay? And they go all the way through to where it's solid. This is mimosa. So let me take this off. And if I have some time, I think I brought my ebonizing paint, which is a black lacquer. And we're going to texture it. Since I didn't bring my abalone, we're going to texture it. And we're going to blacken, or we're going to ebonize it, and we're going to decorate it that way. And you know I'd bring the wrong one, but thinking ahead, that's what you always do. So we'll tighten this on. Another thing is if you are turning something, and say you can't go in very deep, you can always use what they call shims, which are something like this, which goes in on here. It gives you a shim. I don't think I'll have to use it. Okay. Got it. Okay. And then make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, which one am I in? Okay, I think we can see the front better this way. Now, when doing a bowl, your base, you got to have a base where it sits flat. The formula is about half of the diameter. Okay, so in this bowl, I think it's about 6 inches. So I would say probably a safe bet would be about 3 inches. So we'll find our middle. There it is. I won't need these. We said 3 inches. So it'll be 3. I'm going to make it right about here. The other thing you want to do is make sure of your base that this fits into. Yeah.
Are we using mic 1 or just mic 2?
Mic 2. So what I would do is I'd measure. So I can get away with 2 inches. I'm doing the outside. So I want to make sure of 2 inches. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit wider. How about out in here? Okay. Then make that 2 inches. Make it there. So now what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start turning this outside and start forming my outside. I'm going to use my Easywood tools, I hope. One thing about using these Easywood tools, you don't have to worry about following the bevel, okay? You just make sure they're straight, they're level, and that pretty much all of them are that way. They're all level, you just got to do the same thing. This is the aggressive, so this will be the aggressive edge, cutting edge, and that's all you have to, that's what's so easy about them. You don't have to sharpen them. Make sure it's going. Always good to bring up your tailstock for support. Now gently, you don't have to do it, take too big of bites. Start taking little bites. What I'm going to make is a Calabash Bowl. The Calabash Bowl is, instead of coming out, flaring out, it kind of comes as a C, like this. What I'm looking at is up in here. I'm not looking here. Okay. And now I'm going to get a the parting tool. I'm only going to take this down probably 1/4 of an inch, okay, depth. When I use this tool, where I got in some trouble, if you start using the whole blade, that's where you get into trouble. I try to use half of it. A little bailout. And you can see where it's up against my arm here. You're going against end grain. So you don't take big bites, or it will pop out. Okay, and now, use this one. Bring it down to a little taper. I want to make sure it sits flat. Okay, I got that taper. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of I'm going to put a little bead right here. The wood that I'm using is mimosa. You're going in at 3 o'clock. Roll it. Okay. Got it. Believe it or not, the turning on that is pretty much done. Now we just sand it. Go ahead and turn it off. Hey. Now we're going to texture it.
Sounds like you're about to take flight whenever you do that.
Okay. Now, you got to clean this up a little bit. Use a brush. Don't use one that's got, use real hair. If you use the one that's got, what do you call it, the false hair, it'll melt. Okay. Now, okay. Got one more little piece of wood. Oh, never mind. You can see I do a lot of turning and twisting in my shop too. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to turn it off.
Yes, sir.
Well, this. So, when you mess up like that, you got to have a way to fix it. Okay, now we're back to this again. Let's see. Okay. All right. Go ahead and turn it off. Just for a minute. The object of this right here is to highlight all your high points. You still keep the black underneath. You don't have to press on very hard because you don't want to get it down in those low places. You really want to make it even. When you get this done, you're pretty much done with the outside. Go ahead and turn it off. Give us. Oh, I gotta have a. I think I got one. Okay, never mind.
Oh, the square tip?
I got one.
I have one too if you need it.
Okay. Pretty much right on time. There. So now take this off. So now we'll take this off. So strong. And we'll put the chuck back on. And now I figured this all out. My screws, tighten it up, are always even with this. Kept looking for them. There we go. Now, cool, got it. You just won't have a decorative. Now, Mary, you get to watch us hollow out the inside.
And then also on the corner, and that was the back side before, right?
Yes, ma'am. Is it going? Get your depth, which is going to be here. This is way too fast. Bowl gouge. Go ahead and stop it. Do you have the handicap? I'll go down to my computers.
Jesse, that's the Easywood hauler #1.
Yes, the mid-size. Okay, that's pretty much there. So now I want to measure my wall thickness. There's a couple of ways you can do it. Measure it by finger. That's there. I'm wanting probably about 1/4 of an inch. And then you can use this.
Okay, that's measuring your wall thickness.
Uh-huh. That's not an inch, that's not 1/4 of an inch thick. That's, feels like it is. I can take off some more. But I don't want to go any deeper.
Okay.
I'm there. Okay. I want to clean this out a little bit more. I feel good on my wall. I feel good on the wall. Okay. Down here, it's a little rough. So I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Almost. On something like this, don't use the finisher on this.
Okay.
You want the small head's what does it, okay?
Okay.
If you use the big one, it can get you in trouble.
Would it help on certain woods to use the negative rake also?
Sure, on harder woods.
Okay.
But when you're hollowing, use the hollower. And I think you have the big hollower.
I do.
That's the good one to have. Okay, that's good. So, I'm not going to sand the inside of it. There you go, Mary.